back to my YouTube channel. My name is Tari here at I'll Define Myself. Welcome if you are new. Welcome back if you are returning. We are going to go ahead and dive in because we have a lot to discuss. This is going to be episode 1, part 2, okay, in the shadow work series. And we are going to be talking about what shadow work is and also what shadow work isn't, okay? There were some guided questions just to get the wheels turning. I hope that you guys enjoyed them. I'd be curious to know some of your responses as this is a vulnerable space and place. And I'll probably post mine in the community tab as well, just to participate and get the conversation started. But without further ado, let us go ahead and do a deep dive. So, center yourself, take a deep breath. You are safe, you are present, you are here. I am here with you, and it's okay. All will be well. Okay? So, I want to say that first and foremost, and excuse me, I have my notes here. I'm coming intentional and prepared, as I will be doing this with every episode. So if I glance down a little bit, it's just to make sure that I'm on the right track. And then I'm also being mindful of you guys' time. Okay. So, first, I wanted to say that shadow work is often misunderstood as something that is really dark or intense. Um, and the reality is that shadow work is very compassionate. It's about learning to operate in a more gentle space with yourself, with your feelings, with your trauma. It is meant to heighten or help you in practicing, okay, self awareness and increasing or enhancing your spirituality or your faith or your connection to spirit. It is inviting in the sense that it invites us to meet all parts of ourselves, okay? Some of those parts that we have learned to hide, or those parts that we may be ashamed of, and create a coexisting relationship with all of those parts of ourselves with love. Okay? So shadow work is often understood as being kind of like this dark part of the self. And in reality, it really is just those parts of ourselves that we should learn to embrace and invite with compassion and love in order to embody our full and complete selves. Okay, so I'm going to go into first what shadow work is, and then I will go into debunking some common myths as it relates to shadow work. And then I will just set us up for episode 2 and what we will be discussing in that episode. Okay, so what is shadow work? I stated this before in the intro episode, but shadow work is all about awareness, not fixing. Okay. So if you are here to come up with a solution to get rid of, I don't know, the reason why you binge eat, i.e., myself, in certain situations when I am very triggered by things, I can't help you. I'm so sorry. I can't help you. However, if you are here trying to understand the why behind why you do certain things, and you are here to try to come up with strategies or practical things that you can do to allow yourself and give the space to yourself to feel what you need to feel. One, know how to identify it. Two, give yourself the space to feel, okay, whatever feelings that you're feeling. And three, understanding the power of release. Okay. That doesn't mean that those things will not come up again, but it just means that your awareness allows you to understand how to best move forward for yourself. Okay. So, spiritual shadow work is all about awareness, not fixing. Okay. Again, it helps us notice the parts of ourselves we have learned to suppress or disconnect from. Okay. I want to stress to you guys that nothing in the shadow is wrong. Okay. It is usually something stemmed from a protective space, a survival space, or even just a space of being misunderstood, right? I'm going to give myself as an example because this is a shared exchange and I have no problem using myself as an example if it helps someone else. I can be very, very sarcastic at times. When I was younger, it was pretty bad. I had a thing of automatically jumping on the defense, um, and being, I'm sorry, now I'm trying to remember, did I say procrastinate? Because look, I can sometimes do that as well. But I think I said sarcastic. So if I didn't, so sorry. But I had a really bad habit of just sort of being sarcastic. Don't get me wrong now. Part of my sense of humor and charm, I still say, is my sarcasm. But I had to learn and understand where and why I felt the need to be sarcastic in certain environments, in certain situations, right? Because, one of my siblings used to tell me like that's rude. Like, why are you always so sarcastic? And after sitting with myself, yeah, there is a part of me that was like, okay, if I'm just being honest, I can have a sarcastic, dry sense of humor at times. But then there was another part that I had to ask myself, why am I so defensive? Like, why am I so quick in a way with my sarcasm to kind of, and even with my tone, to kind of belittle others in certain circumstances? Because I realized, full transparency, I was bullied growing up. And a lot of the things that I was bullied for had to do with my outer appearance. But one thing I was always very confident with was my brain. And as a defense mechanism, I realized that I had to be quick witted, right? Like if you were going to come at me and say, oh my gosh, like you're fat or whatever, then I had to be ready and have a response ready to make you feel like an idiot before, you know, before I let it get to me what you were coming at me with. And I realized that I carried that on even after the bullying stopped, but it had truly become a protective defense mechanism for myself. Has the sarcasm gone away? No. To this day, if I feel like you're coming for me, will I come back? Perhaps. But I'm more self-aware now when it comes to how I present that part of myself, and I'm fully aware of where it comes from as well, which allows me to give myself the space to feel what I need to feel and move forward, okay? And even love that part of me. I love the fact that I'm quick-witted. I love the fact that I can even be a little sarcastic, At one point when it was brought to my attention, I was like, okay, I need to get rid of this part of myself. And then I learned that it is also a part of what makes me me, not completely, but it is a part of what makes me me. So, how do I embrace this aspect of myself, but coming from a place of love and not fear, and just still giving myself the space and the grace to be me because we're all different spiritual beings having a human experience. So, just thought I'd give you guys that as an example. The second thing is that a lot of the times, what people don't realize is the shadow work or the shadow cell is formed through survival. The shadow develops through expectations, trauma, conditioning, and moments where being yourself or being authentic felt very unsafe of sorts. And so, as a result, you are automatically taking those parts of yourself. You've maybe even been made to feel ashamed of certain parts of yourself, right? I think that we've all been there. Okay. Third thing is that shadow work is a spiritual practice. Okay. I stressed this in the first video. Shadow work, in my personal opinion, never goes away. Okay. It never goes away. But we're not here aiming and striving for perfection. Okay. We are here striving for progress. We're here striving for compassion. We're here striving for self love. We're here striving for gratitude. We are here striving for vulnerability and creating that safe space for ourselves to be our complete full selves, coming from a healthy aspect of who we are as people. Okay. Operating from a space of love and not fear, but it is a practice. It is being intentional, whether that is daily meditation. Maybe you are a person who needs to see things. I have some sticky notes in my bathroom that remind me you are enough. You are you are worthy. You don't have to compare yourself to other people, because if I'm just being very candid, sometimes I have to remind myself of that. And it's kind of been a struggle, you know, on and off throughout my life, and really getting to that place where, okay, I'm going to feel this for a couple of minutes, but then I'm going to get back to being me, because I know that being me is enough, and it is exactly why I am where I am and who I am. Okay? So it's a spiritual practice. At its core, shadow work is about wholeness, it's about integration, it's about compassion and deepening your self trust. It takes a lot of trust. I didn't realize like how mistrusting I was of myself like growing up. But if I'm just being very honest, I do feel like there were parts of me, probably because of who I was as a child, where I didn't necessarily trust myself, or I didn't feel like I was given the opportunities to really develop that self trust, right? Like, when, of course, your parents instill different values in you. And I'm not, and at the core, look, those values were there. But when it came to, in certain situations, navigating, especially peer pressure or wanting to fit in or struggling with your self image, struggling with your confidence, you know, seeing other people quote unquote elevate or be in certain spaces, right? When you feel like, hey, I've worked hard, I've done this, I should be there too, right? It can be a little difficult, like trusting the path that you've chosen, right? Because yes, we believe in divine timing. Yes, in my personal opinion, there are no coincidences. But at the same time, we all have free will and we get to choose, right? And depending upon what we choose, there are a series of events, okay, that unfold or occur. Ultimately, your destination will be the same, but your path to getting there may look a little different, right? As someone who has personally been there, and I feel like is still on that journey, but I've gotten to that space and place where I know that I can trust myself now. And that voice that's in my head, that initial voice that comes to my head, is typically my intuition talking. And everything else after that is like fear just coming in and being like, girl, no, this isn't it. Maybe it's this. Maybe you're not good enough. Maybe you're not ready. Blah, 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 blah. I love Hotel Transylvania. Um, a little random fact, but I digress. So it is a practice, right? And we have to find what works for us to remind us of certain things in certain situations. Maybe it is a daily devotional, okay? Maybe it is journaling. Maybe it is getting like one of those oracle decks or those card decks that gives you motivational things to remember, to talk about. I do a lot of meditation on patience, um and trusting the process. I do a lot of meditation on that, and surrendering and releasing, because look, your girl got control issues. Okay. But the good thing is that I'm self-aware. Okay. And so I always tell people around me, look, if I'm in my head, please tell me when I'm in my head, because I trust you. Like, you're my tribe. You're not gonna lie to me, you're gonna be honest. You can be like, Tari, get out of your head right now. And I'm gonna be like, you know what? You're right. Thank you for that reminder. Okay. It takes a village. And last but not least, an important thing to remember about shadow work is that it is slow and cyclical. Okay. I know that we are going to be diving into different aspects of this, and I'm trying to break it down into digestible pieces so that you're not overwhelmed by anything. As someone who has been actively doing shadow work, I will say since, I don't know, maybe since like 2018, 2019. And I can say that it's been a practice for that long for myself to get to this space and place where I'm here speaking with you guys about it. But it is slow, it is cyclical. Okay. So it comes in hamster wheel form. All right. It comes in cycles. So there may be moments where you have to come back to these tools that you are going to learn about, that you are going to use during this series to kind of remind you of this compassion to have for yourself, to remind you that you are whole, that you are enough by yourself, and to come from a space and place of love and not fear. It's important to remember that shadow work unfolds in layers, okay? And allowing us to revisit themes from new levels of awareness. As I stated before with my example of being sarcastic, it really gave me a new perspective and a new heightened sense of awareness. Even as I am interacting with people, I can now stop and think. Like, I will pause and I honestly will be like, are they ready for this smoke? Like, are they ready? And honestly, sometimes people just need it and they don't even have to be ready, right? But now I will sit and I will ask myself, do I need to do this now? Do I need to go there now, right? And then sometimes I decide, oh yeah, you getting this today, and I'm okay with that because I've already thought about it, and this is where we're at. And sometimes people just need that, and that's the reality as well. Okay. Now that we've talked about what shadow work is, let's dive into some common myths surrounding shadow work. Okay. So now we're moving into what shadow work is not, but you may believe that it is. Okay. The first myth is that shadow work is dark or scary. Um, Dark, no. A lot of the times, dark versus light, darkness can symbolize or have like a negative connotation, but everything in life is about perspective, right? It's scary. Mm, I think that that kind of depends. But I will say that if you are coming into this with the lens of, I'm going to love myself no matter what, then no. We are simply seeking understanding. Understanding and really developing strategies to exercise that self love for all parts of ourselves. So, shadow work is more so rooted in curiosity. Okay, we're going to use the Socratic method here. We're going to ask ourselves why. Ask yourself why. Tari, why are you so sarcastic? I'm so sarcastic because of this, but why do you feel this way about this? Well, and then things are revealed in layers. The good thing is that at any point that you feel like, okay, this is too much, I'm overwhelmed, you can pause, you can stop. You can say, hey, I need to sit with this because this was a lot to do in a day. This was a lot to do in an hour. And I'll revisit this in 48 hours. I'm a firm believer in processing and giving yourself the space to sit with things and process. It's also rooted in compassion, okay? So we're going to be curious and we're going to be compassionate with ourselves and move forward. We're not going to look at shadow work as this big, dark, scary sort of thing that's just kind of meant to overtake us and, just kind of make us feel crappy about ourselves. Not at all, okay? Your shadow is love. You are loved, and we are sitting in this space to love ourselves completely, fully. Myth number 2: shadow work means reliving trauma. Well, when you are doing this work, it's not meant to take you back to reliving parts of your life that you have experienced that have truly, genuinely hurt you. We are not here to relive trauma. What we are here to do is honor our feelings, honor our emotions, which enhance our self awareness. So be present and listen to your body during this time because you will have different feelings. You will experience different emotions. And it's important for you to be able to understand why you feel the way that you feel and know that it's valid and that it's okay. We're not here to relive horrible experiences that have happened to us. We are here for safety. We are here for wholeness. And we are here to stay present in the moment. Okay? Shadow work isn't about doing a deep dive and reliving the past. It's about the present moment and maybe unpacking parts of yourself that have been impacted by the past. But ultimately, how are you feeling present day? And how can you move forward with honoring those feelings and emotions coming from a place of love? The third myth is that healing means erasing pain. And that is just not true. Um, I'm a firm believer in feeling what you need to feel, but I'm also a firm believer in releasing and letting go because the more you hold on, it does nothing for anybody else. And all it does is hold you back. Okay? Healing, you are going to feel some things. Again, we're not reliving trauma, but you are going to feel all the feels. Okay? So be ready to feel all the feels. I literally was having a situation happen to me where I was very triggered, very triggered. Um, I would say a couple of weeks ago. And I had to choose and decide. One, I had to honor my feelings. I felt like baby Tariana was just running around here, like, give me a brownie, give me some cookies, give me some cake, because girl, I'm here. And I had to give her the space to be and to be free. But then I also, knowing the work that I've done that I am continuously doing, I had to have self-awareness and understanding, okay, I need to feel this. I am triggered. And this is what I'm going to do to move forward out of a place of love for myself because it's okay. The truth is that healing changes our relationship to pain rather than eliminating it. Okay? Now when I experience pain, and I'm using air quotes in a very, loose way, but when I experience hurt, I do realize that my perspective has changed a lot. A lot of the times I've realized that people project a lot onto you when it's got nothing to do with you. And granted, that doesn't make it okay, but ultimately I've realized the importance of having boundaries and operating in a space of like rational selfishness, not being apologetic for what I choose to do for myself and that being okay. I grew up being a people pleaser. Everybody else is okay but Tari. And life has taught me that in order for me to be good for other people, to show up for the people that I love and care about, Tari has to be good, which means Tari has to have boundaries. Okay. Yes, I am referring myself in the third person. Next thing is that shadow work is only for spiritual people. Nope. Anyone who can reflect on their reactions, anyone who sits in like an introspective space where you are looking to grow, where you are looking to raise your self awareness, enhance your self awareness, and move forward with a growth mindset and love yourself, shadow work is for anyone. Okay. So you don't have to be the most spiritual or the most religious person to do shadow work, okay? To want to be better for yourself and to want to invite and love yourself completely. And then lastly, shadow work must be like this intense experience, okay? I am breaking down these episodes to debunk that myth altogether. Like, it does not have to be an intense experience. Baby steps, okay? You got to crawl before you can walk. And before you crawl, you got tummy time. So it's not meant to be intense. It's meant to be gentle. It's meant to be intentional in the sense of being present for your reflection, being present for your feelings, for your emotions, being present for heightening your awareness. And these gentle moments of compassion create shifts, okay? Moments for realizations, moments for clarity, okay? Moments for compassion, moments for tears, okay? Moments for growth. And ultimately, one of the biggest things I want you to take from this message or this episode is that shadow work isn't about becoming someone new. It's about remembering who you were before you learned to hide. Again, shadow work is not about becoming someone new. It's about remembering, okay? Inviting in who you were before you learned to hide. So, I hope you found this information useful and helpful. I will have more information and kind of a recap or a summary in the description box. And I will also be introducing episode 2, which is going to be centered on creating safety and intention. And I will see you guys next Sunday at 12 p.m. Eastern Time. I'm going to drop some questions in preparation for episode 2 before we do a deep dive into what it means to create safety and what intention is during this process in order for us to move forward together. I know that this is some pretty long content, but it is important, valuable content. My prayer is that this message reaches who needs it. Okay, I'm sending peace, love, and light your way. Exercise some self care. Okay, always come from a space and place of self love for yourself. If you have gotten through this video, or if you have liked, what you've heard, or if you plan to come back, which I hope you do, please like it. It helps the algorithm, and just so I'm able to reach more people. And if you want more content like this, because there will be more content like this, please subscribe to the channel. I'm trying to get in the habit, as I am being honest with myself and still working on my own shadow work, really, really showing up for myself with this. So I love being here. I love being in community with you guys. And also share the video, okay? It may not be for you, and that's okay. I realized a while ago that, I'm not meant to be everybody's cup of tea. Okay? No one is, right? So share it if you feel like there is someone else that could also use this message. All right? But I'm going to love you and leave you guys, and prayers are with you until next